Starfighter 1 combat control to Captain Zapp. Alien armada detected in Quadrant X. Shields at maximum. Lock on alien transport. Launch Cobalt missile. Alien photon bunker detected in structure dead ahead. Dimensional displacement vector laid in. Shields up. Incoming photon signals. Warning, you're painted. Alien craft detected. Launch laser missile. Congratulations, Captain Zapp.
Jimmy, got a postcard.
You have cleared Quadrant X of all alien aggressors. Ready to proceed to next quadrant.
Looks like the Empire State Building.
Want to hear it?
Your postcard.
Dear Jimmy, we went to the top of the Empire State Building, but King Kong wasn't there. Must have been his lunch break. You know Dad wrote this. That's just like one of his jokes. Give Grandpa our best and have lots of fun. We'll be back the day before your birthday. Love, Mom and Dad.
What's the matter, Captain Zapp?
How'd you know the name of my video game?
Well, I've only heard you play it 500 times since your folks dropped you off last Saturday.
I really like being with you, Grandpa. It's just, it's nothing to do.
I thought maybe I'd get something to take your mind off the fact that you've been stuck with your grandpa.
What's that?
Well, handlebars, seat, wheels. When I was a kid, they called it a bicycle.
Looks like it's about to fall apart.
Well, that's the beauty of it. You see, you get to fix it up. Then you can ride something that you made work yourself.
I don't know how to fix bikes. They do that in bike shops, don't they?
Got the tools in the garage.
Where would I ride it if we got it fixed?
If you got it fixed. Oh, up the street, down the street, over to the park. I thought maybe you could ride with the neighbor kid down in the corner.
Grandpa, the kid on the corner's a girl.
Well, anything would be better than the 501st rerun of Captain Zapp. Come on in, Jimmy.
That's a cowboy gun.
Yeah, you got the right idea. It's a Winchester 73. Closer companion to the cowboy is his horse, so the saying goes. And it's still a great gun. Positively high-tech for its time. Repeating firearm. Use brass cartridges.
Repeating firearm? What do you mean? And what are brass cartridges?
Well, to understand what I'm talking about, you have to know how guns work.
I know. You just pull the trigger and it goes bang.
Well, that's all the information you need to play video games. Oh, and by the way, you don't pull the trigger. You squeeze it smoothly. That's trigger control, one of the two fundamentals of shooting. Now, if you're interested in guns, real guns, there's certain things you must learn.
I am interested, Grandpa.
All right. There. Now there's the Winchester at work.
It was called a repeating firearm because it held many shots. You can shoot and repeat many times before reloading. And cartridges are what you load into it.
A cartridge is a self-contained package that basically holds three things: projectile, powder, and primer. Now this brass case holds everything. The front part is the bullet, and this little metal dot is the primer. Now you hit that just right, and this bullet shoots.
But what do you hit it with, Grandpa?
The special part in the gun called the firing pin. It's activated when you squeeze the trigger. Of course, before you squeeze that trigger, you have to load the gun through this part here. You push the cartridges into the magazine, which is this long tube where they're stored. Now, the gun would now be ready to shoot. But first, you make sure that it's pointed in a safe direction. That's the direction you intend to shoot. And once that's certain, you work the action. That's this lever here. And the cartridge is pulled out of the magazine and put into the chamber. That's a special place inside the gun where the cartridge waits to be fired. At the same time, the hammer is cocked back.
Now do you squeeze the trigger?
Right. Now, to make sure that the trigger is only worked intentionally, there's the trigger guard. That's this metal ring around the trigger, which helps protect it from being struck accidentally. Because when you squeeze that trigger, that makes the hammer fall, which makes the firing pin strike the bottom of the cartridge in the chamber. And the bullet then travels extremely fast through this long, hollow metal tube called the barrel and exits here from the muzzle.
Then what?
Then you work the lever again. The old cartridge is ejected from the chamber. New one pulled from the magazine. And everything's ready to start all over again.
I see. Hey, isn't that another cowboy gun?
Right. Colt Peacemaker. Often side by side with the Winchester in the old days. Yeah, but there are some differences between the two. The three major parts of a gun: the action, the barrel, and the stock. The Winchester's a rifle. It was meant for a two-handed operation. The Colt's a pistol, built so it could be fired with one hand, although you can use two. And the Colt and the Winchester are also different in how they store their cartridges. This kind of pistol is known as a revolver. It has a cylinder with 6 chambers. You load 5 cartridges and keep the 6th chamber under the hammer empty for safety. Cock the hammer with your thumb, and a chamber lines up with the barrel. Shoot, then cock the hammer again. A new chamber lines up, and another cartridge is ready.
So these types of guns are pretty old.
Both these models were brought out in 1873. And that's over 100 years ago. Guns like these carried us to the 20th century, through America's move west. But times changed, and so did guns. By the 1900s, we had the automatic. The automatic's main idea was that once you loaded it, all you had to work was the trigger until the gun was empty. I used to take your dad shooting when he was a boy.
How old was he?
I was just about your age.
Really? What about me, Grandpa? Can I shoot one of your guns?
Yes, Jimmy, you can. And I have one of mine I think it would be just about right for you. This is an airgun. It's like the one your dad learned to shoot with. Now, the only difference between this and these others that we've talked about is projectile and powder. this case, projectile's a BB. And air, not powder, gives it the energy to shoot out the muzzle. Other than that, there's no difference. You treat an air gun just like you treat any other gun in this room. You have to learn the big safety rule. It applies to every shooter, every gun, every situation. If you want to be a shooter, Jimmy, you have to follow it exactly.
Is it hard, Grandpa?
Not at all. Gun safety is based on common sense. Something a good shooter keeps in his head until it becomes second nature. The big rule is simple. Always point a gun in a safe direction.
But what if I know the gun is empty?
It doesn't matter. You always treat a gun as if it were loaded. You don't point it carelessly, even though you're positive that there's nothing in the chamber, even if the safety is on. Now, this is the safety. It blocks the trigger. But don't depend on the safety alone. Safeties are only mechanical devices. Always remember that the most important safety on a gun is the shooter. You. You keep a gun safe through proper handling. Another thing to keep a gun safe, never load it until you're ready to shoot. And after you finish shooting, make sure it stays empty. Now be extra aware that your gun's empty and pointed in a safe direction. The shooter has to know how his gun works. We're going to get on that right now. Here. Now, before we go any further, I want to make one thing clear. I'm going to teach you to be a shooter. But that doesn't mean that you have free run of my guns or any others that you might come across. You never touch a gun or any cartridges without permission and supervision. Okay?
Yes, Grandpa. Am I pointing the muzzle right?
Perfect. Oh, and here's something that goes hand in hand with what we've been talking about. The owner's manual. Every point we'll work on is covered in this book. We'll go over it later to keep it all fresh in your mind. I think it's time to go out back.
What are we gonna do now?
The only thing that's left to do, shoot.
Yeah!
That's the great thing about air guns. You can shoot them right on your own property. Just make sure of your backstop. Never fire toward anything hard like rocks or an ordinary wall, or else the BBs you shoot can ricochet, which means they can bounce back.
Have a seat.
So you really shoot this air gun right here in your backyard?
Sure do. Helps me to keep my skills up. BBs are way, way cheaper than firearm cartridges. You know, police departments and the military use air guns too in their shooting programs.
Wow, air guns are really serious.
Absolutely. This is not a toy. I want you to put these protective glasses on. They'll keep your eyes safe from ricochets. I'm going to show you something. I don't want you to ever forget it. Now watch.
Oh, cardboard. It went straight through.
Well, that's what an air gun can do. When you use one of these, you have power and responsibility in your hands. Never take that lightly, right?
All right, Grandpa.
Time for you to take over. Keep your finger off the trigger and outside the trigger guard until you're ready to shoot. Now, you're going to be shooting from what's called the bench rest position. It's very stable, and that's important for accuracy. Your left hand holds the forearm. That's this front part of the stock, with the left hand resting against the sandbag. Now, pull your left elbow a little closer to the body for support. The right hand holds the stock back of the trigger area. Put your right elbow on the table here. There. And I'll give you good, solid support. That's good. Relax now. Okay, get back in position. Good. Now let's get the sights lined up. The rear sight looks like a V, and the front sight looks like the letter I. Close your left eye and look down the top of the barrel. Can you see what I'm talking about?
I see them.
Now move the gun a bit so the front sight looks like it's right in the groove of the back sight. Right in the middle.
Got it.
Now get the top edge of the front sight even with the top edge of the back sight, and make the top edges form one straight line.
I did it, Grandpa.
You've learned the first fundamental to shooting, sight alignment. Now remember, always keep that muzzle pointed in a safe direction. When you're in a shooting situation, point it downrange.
Toward the target.
That's it. Now let's bring the target into the picture. You know how the sights are supposed to look. Now we have to line them up with a bullseye. Now get in position. Front sight in the middle of the back sight, top edge is even. Now move the gun so the top of the front sight is right in the middle of the bullseye. That's called the sight picture. How's it look?
Just like you said.
Now we're ready to hit that bullseye. Now to load the gun, you put the BBs in this hole here. To get the BBs up into the magazine, you hold this button back. Turn the gun over. Tilt it down, shake it slightly. Now to pump it, you move the fore end in and out. Now that builds up the air pressure inside, the air that gives the BB the energy to shoot.
How many times should I do it?
10 will give you maximum power. 3 is good enough for our purposes. So give it 3 pumps. Now, this Crosman has a bolt action to load the chamber.
You push that bolt forward. See the BB? It's come from the magazine. Then you lock it down, and that puts the BB in the chamber.
The gun is now loaded and ready to shoot. And just like you were doing when it was empty, keep it pointed downrange. All right, get in position. Start your sight alignment. And when you squeeze the trigger, slow and smooth. Don't jerk it. That's called trigger control. The second fundamental of shooting. There are only 2 fundamentals. Sight alignment and trigger control. All right, safety off. Go for it. Atta boy. Give it 3 more pumps and get ready to shoot again. Now this time, try a follow through. Keep squeezing that trigger, even after you know the gun is fired. Follow through will keep your movement smooth. Now let's try it again. Line up the sights. Hold it steady and squeeze that trigger smoothly. You remember you follow through?
Yeah. So how's that?
Looking good, Jimmy. You see how everything I've taught you fits into place? Big safety rule, sight alignment, trigger control. All the ingredients for accurate shooting. Keep going. Like anything else, the more you do it, the better you get.
Anybody home?
Hi, Becky. Come on over. Becky, this is my grandson, Jimmy. He's here for a visit. I'm awfully glad you came by. I've been meaning to call your mom and invite you over.
Guess my mom had the same idea. She's out in the car with some of my friends. Jimmy, she thought maybe if you didn't have anything to do, we're all going to the Civic Center swimming pool. It's really nice.
Gee, thanks, but I'm shooting right now. I'd ask you to shoot too, but you've got to learn how. Be checked out and all first.
Yeah. Well, that's my mom. Not bad shooting. See you.
Not bad. What's she trying to do? Put me down because I didn't want to go swimming with a bunch of girls?
No, she's right. Not bad. Not bad at all.
Your wrench did the trick, Grandpa. I got the new handlebars on really tight. Is it still okay if I ride to the sporting goods store?
No problem. It's only a few blocks. The way you fixed up that bike, looks like it'd go for miles.
I know what to get, Grandpa. Don't worry.
Ride safely. So you should be expecting my grandson any minute. Now he'll need some babies and some airgun targets. Also show him some airguns. His birthday's coming up. I want to get him one.
Yeah, I'll take care of everything.
Just put what he needs on my account.
Will do.
Oh, and Bob, thanks. Be talking to you.
Yeah, take it easy, John. Oh, don't tell me now. Jimmy Preston.
Yeah.
No, I don't have a crystal ball or anything. I just got off the phone with your grandpa. Come on, I'll show you everything you need.
Wow. Are all of these air guns? I didn't know there's so many.
Yeah, they are. There's a lot of different models, Jimmy, but there's only 3 basic types. You have pump, spring, and CO2.
Can I check out a couple?
My pleasure. This is a Crosman model 6500. It's the spring type. You cock it by doing this.
That's heavier than the one I use at my grandpa's house. Does it shoot BBs?
No, something a little different. Pellet. Like this.
Oh, that's neat. That's a revolver. I can tell by the round part. The cylinder.
Your grandpa is a good teacher, Jimmy. This air gun holds 6 pellets, and Crosman makes other clips that hold 10. See, the pellets fit right in here, and this model uses CO2. This little can is called a powerlet. Inside is a special compressed gas that gives this type of gun its air power. Okay, that's all. You pull the trigger for each pellet, and the powerlet is good for about 60 shots.
That's a 45. My grandpa has one of those.
Actually, this is a Colt 45 frame with a Crosman Blaser slide on top of it. With this setup, your grandpa can convert a 45 into an air gun, a very accurate air gun. And since you shoot pellets with the Blaser, you save a lot of money.
That's a cool idea. I bet Grandpa would like a blaster for his gun. I like that one too. Can I see it?
You have good taste, Jimmy. This is a real popular model. It's the Crosman 760 Pump Master. And as the name says, it's the pump type air gun.
So is the one my grandpa lets me shoot.
The Pump Master gives you the best of both worlds. It's a single shot pellet shooter. You load the pellets here, but you can also shoot BBs in it. It holds 18 in the magazine and 200 in the reservoir right there.
200 BBs?
Makes for a long time in between reloadings.
Crosman Model 760 Pump Master. I've got to remember that. An air gun. That's an air gun?
And how? Crosman Model 84. How's she shooting, Coach?
Perfect. This is the most advanced air gun I've ever shot. Oh, just a minute.
Frank Briggs, meet your new fan, Jimmy Preston. He's a fellow airgun shooter.
Hiya, Jimmy.
Hi, you're a coach?
Sure am.
He coaches Olympic rifle and pistol teams all over the world.
Airgun shooting has teams and competitions, same as any other sport.
Is there anything like a Super Bowl for air guns?
I guess the airgun events in the Olympics would be our Super Bowl. But there are lots of other major championships. People compete from many different countries.
Can you win a gold medal?
Sure, if you're the best shot. How much shooting have you done, Jimmy?
I shot every last BB at my grandfather's house.
Sounds like a good start to me.
Jimmy is John Preston's grandson.
Really? I know your granddad. He started shooting to some of the scout troops around here. You really are off to a good start. I've got to get to the target range. I'm teaching a shooting class. You're welcome to come, Jimmy.
I'll have to check with my grandpa.
Hope to see you there, Jimmy.
Bye, Coach Briggs.
Bye. See you, Bob. Thanks for the test run.
Anytime, Coach. Okay, Jimmy, let's fit you out with the BBs and the accessories you need for your grandpa's air gun.
Hiya, Jimmy. Glad you're able to make it. Looks like you're ready to go. You got eye protection? Good. You won't need ear protection. We only have air guns on the line today. Let's find an open point. Air guns have lots of benefits. No noise, no kick, easy to handle. As a matter of fact, they're the best tool for teaching new shooters how to shoot.
Really?
With no noise or kick, the shooter can really concentrate on the fundamentals. And that way he doesn't develop bad habits in the beginning that can be hard to break later on. How'd you do that time?
Oh, much better. Thanks for the advice.
Good. Now remember what I told you, Mark. Use the sights to line up the barrel with your eye. Then point the whole system toward the target naturally by shifting your relaxed position until the sights line up with the bullseye. Got that?
Yeah.
Those sights are different than the ones in my grandpa's air gun.
Well, those are peep sights. The back sight has a hole. That's what you view the front sight through. From there on, it's pretty much the same. You center on the bullseye.
Grandpa taught me the bench rest position, but I've seen him take a couple of shots standing up like that.
Well, that's just another position called simply the standing position. Mind if I use you as an example? Olympic shooters shoot like this. Spread your feet out about shoulder width. Stand sideways to the target. Okay, left arm on your side. Make a fist with your left hand. Lay the rifle across your fist. All right, now relax your right arm, let it hang down. Lean back, head erect. That looks good. You get it?
Yeah.
Thank you. This is the kneeling position. It gives good support for better shooting accuracy. Get your right knee on the ground. Sit on the bottom of your right foot. Your left foot is flat on the ground, left knee up. You rest the flat section just above your left elbow on the flat section of your knee. You get even greater accuracy from the prone position, like this shooter is doing. Both elbows on the ground give you solid support for your rifle. Want to help me teach a new shooter?
Sure, Coach.
You lie down like this. It's not as hard as it looks. People usually shoot their best scores from the prone position. Keep your left elbow just to the left of the gun. Left leg straight. Bend the right leg, toe pointing out, like that. Now you relax and let the rifle point naturally. If it's not pointing at the target, shift your body so that it does. It's almost time for ceasefire. You'll hear the commands. Just do as I say. Make sure you stick around. We're having a big event for young shooters at the end of the day. Okay. You can use the gun on that point. Good shooting.
Thanks, Coach.
Fire the pellet in your chamber and cease firing. Open your actions. Lay your rifles down on the mat. All right, step back from the firing line. Is the line safe? The line is safe. You may go forward and change your targets.
You must think I'm a real jerk.
Why?
Telling you the other day you couldn't use my air gun until you were checked out and all. I didn't know you were a shooter. You're terrific.
Thanks.
And now I'm going to try and beat you.
Bikeathlon is one of the newest events in airgun shooting. Young shooters, like yourselves, race bikes on an off-road type course. At the halfway point of the course, there's a shooting station. You have to stop, get off your bikes, take an airgun, and shoot at targets. Okay, does anyone have any questions about the pistols I taught you how to use earlier? Okay, good. By the way, the last Bikeathlon finals were shown on national television. We've set up our own version of the Bikeathlon. It basically follows this dirt road that goes behind the range. We've got the route marked with flags, so it's easy to follow. We also have people supervising the course in case you need any help. You'll see the shooting station. Like the rules say, when you get there, get off your bike, set up and shoot. You can't leave the shooting station until you've knocked down all of the targets. Okay, this will be your starting and finishing line. You all ready?
Yeah.
Let's move up on the starting line. Keep your bikes even with the front of the starting line. I don't want to see any tires across the front. Good. Good. Okay. All right, a little back there. Fine. Everybody ready? Yeah. On your mark. Get set. Go!
Well, how was your flight?
Better than the taxi ride from the airport.
Well, that's old Vern for you. I bet he talked your ear off. Always wanted to see New York, he says.
Where's Jimmy? We got some surprises for him.
He may have a surprise of his own.
What have you been up to, Dad?
We've been having a ball.
Uh-huh.
Let Jimmy tell you himself.
Hey, there he is.
Mom, Dad, boy, am I glad to see you.
Oh, we missed you. But we got back just in time for your birthday. Did you decide what present you want?
I learned how to shoot. I want an air gun for my birthday. A Crosman Model 760 Pumpmaster. This proves I can shoot it right.
Look at this target. Did you shoot this, Jimmy?
A gun?
An air gun. I learned to shoot on one. Jimmy, you're a champ.
Jimmy, let's get the folks' luggage upstairs to the guest room and we'll rustle up some supper. They must be tired from all that flying.
That's great.
I don't know. Video games are one thing, but real guns.
Dad taught me to shoot when I was younger than Jimmy.
Well, do you think Jimmy's responsible enough to own a gun? I mean, we live in the middle of a city. You grew up in the country.
Mom, Dad, I knew you'd ask me if I could handle it, Mom. I want to show you.
Let's give him a chance.
I had to learn a lot of things. I found out what the different parts of the gun are called. The muzzle, the barrel, the forearm, the chamber, the bolt and the action, the trigger and trigger guard, the safety, and the stock. Grandpa said I could shoot his air gun, but I had to learn the safety rules first. These rules are the same for all guns. Always point the muzzle in a safe direction. You should also always treat a gun as if it were loaded. Don't load a gun until you're ready to shoot, and make sure you keep it empty afterwards and know how your gun works. Grandpa taught me how to shoot the air gun right here in the backyard. First, he showed me the bench rest position. He then told me how to line up the sights. His air gun has open sights. You look through the groove in the back sight and get the front sight right in the middle of that. You then get all the top edges and sides even and put the bullseye right in the middle of everything for the sight picture. That's called sight alignment. Grandpa says that's one of the 2 fundamentals of shooting.
You learned all that?
Yeah, and I hadn't even taken the first shot. When I was finally ready to shoot, I loaded the air gun. I learned how to load the magazine with BBs. Then I pumped the gun and worked the action to load the chamber. You need trigger control for straight shooting. That's the second fundamental. Squeeze the trigger, don't jerk it. Hold everything for a second, even after you make the shot. That's called follow through. At the sporting goods store, I saw different types of air guns: pump, spring, and CO2. I also saw a pellet. Most air guns shoot them, like BBs. I met Coach Briggs there. He's the coach who taught me some more stuff out at the target range. Coach Briggs showed me other shooting positions: standing, kneeling, and prone. When I was at the shooting range, I had to obey the range commands. Then came the best part, the bikeathlon, riding bikes and shooting air guns in the same contest. So that's what I had to learn, but it was worth it. Shooting is the best fun I've ever had. Watch me.
Well, this is quite an accomplishment, Jimmy. I'm proud of you.
All together. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Jimmy. Happy birthday to you.
Yeah!
That means I get my wish.
Well, I hope that this is it.
Can't be anything else.
Let's just get it open.
Mom, Dad, Grandpa, thanks. Thanks for the new targets, Becky.
Well, the least you can do is give me a chance.
Safety zone. All square off.
Is this right?
Dear Grandpa, thanks for the best vacation ever. I'll never forget learning to shoot with you. I guess I should say learning to shoot right with you. We're all shooting air guns now. Dad, me, and even Mom. By the way, Mom is turning out to be the best shot. I'll bet Becky would like to hear that. Thanks again, Grandpa, and remember, the next time you come and visit us here, pack up your air gun and we'll all go shooting together. Love, Jimmy.